My story takes place in Alberta, Canada. I was raised here, but I was born in Mexico. My parents moved us up here when I was 6 years old. In Mexico, we grew up hearing lots of stories from relatives and my own parents about paranormal activity they had experienced themselves or weird phenomena that they just couldn't explain. It wasn't odd for me to acknowledge and accept that there were things beyond my understanding within that realm. When I was 21, I was living with some roommates in an old townhouse. My roommates and I rarely got to see each other all at the same time. We worked very different schedules. We would usually see each other on the way in or out of the house. The house itself was probably built in the 70s or 80s. It was quite old. You could hear creaking all the time. If anyone walked up and down the stairs, you could hear it very clearly. Even walking into the kitchen, you could hear. I was just getting ready for bed. I went upstairs to my room. I didn't have curtains for my window. I would just close the blinds at nighttime and I would still get a lot of light from street lights or even the moonlight. I had placed my bed right underneath the window. It was just the darkest spot in the room where I slept comfortably. On this night, I was really struggling to fall asleep when I heard the front door of the house open. I heard steps come up. And then my door rattled. I'm thinking, oh, one of my silly roommates has come home drunk and thinks that this is their room. I lived with two guys and they were very protective of me. I was like their little sister. The rattling on the doorknob stopped, and I heard the footsteps go back downstairs and out the door. I just didn't really think anything else of it and kept trying to fall asleep. 10 minutes later, someone is behind me. That pressure you feel on a bed or on the mattress when someone is leaning in, I had that feeling behind me. My thought was, oh, one of my roommates is checking up on me. And as I'm waking up a bit more out of that weird daze you're in right before you fall asleep, I realized my bedroom door is locked. I'm sleeping on my side. My back is towards the wall where the window is. I opened my eyes. I knew something was wrong. I shouldn't be able to feel anything behind me. When I opened my eyes, the light in the room started to disappear, as if someone was pulling a curtain over my window. This light was just disappearing. From the corner of my eye, I could see something at the end of my bed. I just grabbed whatever courage I had in that moment. I looked over. At the edge of my bed was a large, dark figure. I could see the silhouette, but I couldn't quite make out if it was a person, just a dark figure. The only distinct feature was red glowing eyes. I couldn't move. I just laid there staring at this thing in front of me. It lunged right at me. It came so close, it was almost right in front of my face, hovering above me. It leaned in just a bit more. Then it growled. A deep growl. I don't even know if I could imitate it. It didn't sound natural. Right after it did that, it started to disappear. It was evaporating before my eyes. When it was fully out of sight, all the light in my room came back in. I instantly sat up and I thought, oh my goodness, what just happened? I thought, you need to call mom. She'll know what to do. I grabbed my phone. I called my mom. She goes, okay, what you need to do right now is hang up the phone and start praying for protection, for guidance. Just keep praying. Start singing whatever church songs that you remember, but you need to do that right now. Whatever that was might not be in sight, but something could be lingering, and you need to bring some good energy into the room. I said, okay, I will. So hung up, immediately started praying out loud as much as I could because my voice was so shaky. I was crying. I started singing. I couldn't get past the one song that I kept singing. I just kept singing it over and I couldn't think of any other song. My mind went blank afterward. I just was stuck on this one song. A few days later, my roommates and I just happened all to be home at the same time. I said, hey, did anyone come home around 3 o'clock the other night and come upstairs and accidentally try and get into my room and left again? They were like, nope. They weren't home at all night. I wish I could say that I knew what it was just so I could make sense of it. I don't know if I'll ever really know what it was that I faced that day. The women in my family particularly, something is always testing us. So maybe this was my moment where evil forces or entities were testing me to see if I would show fear or if I would face it. Like my mom has faced a lot of things. She has seen dark figures, big wolves. My aunt has also seen spirits. My grandma, my cousins, we've all seen or dreamt or felt something. And I'm glad that was a lesson my mom instilled in us was you don't show fear. Don't let them see that face of fear. It doesn't matter even if you are scared. You cannot show them fear because that's how they win. Something else did come to mind that I wanted to share. Because it's so common for like our family to talk about this stuff. We grew up being really close friends to a family that lives on a reserve near us. The husband is a chief. The wife is an elder. They're well respected in their community. They're the ones who taught me how to do blessings on myself with sage and how to bless my home and how to protect myself from energies with the teachings of the indigenous, which I profoundly respect. Their teachings mean a lot to me, and learning all that has really made a difference for me. Even if you don't really know how to do it the way they are trying to show you, you still have full power within yourself to cast things away or request that the good energies and the healing spirits, good spirits, bring light into your life. People think that they're completely helpless without these extra instruments, but we have all the power. We're the ones with flesh and bone. Like, these are just spirits and entities trying to get their way with us however they can, but we're the ones with the real control. I've embraced that part of my life, and I have no problem in calling myself a bruja. In my own way, I am. My grandma and great-grandmother on my father's side considered themselves white witches. My great-grandma was on her deathbed. She was so scared. She kept saying, they're coming for me. I don't want to die. They're coming for me. She asked the grandkids to go get my dad. My dad was the only one who was religious. She said, "Go get Alejandro. I need him to come give me a blessing because I'm so scared." She hated religion, but she was so scared on her deathbed that she called for my dad to come bless her. She says she's a white witch, but who knows what she dabbled in. You shouldn't be that scared when you're dying. She was doing other stuff for sure. Sometimes we go into this gray area, but convince ourselves that we're still in the white. I remember my dad telling us that his grandma would practice white magic. People would come for her for like healings, love spells and stuff. Love spells is not white magic. You're interfering with people's will. That's not white. That's not pure. Life is a delicate balance. And when you start messing with certain things, go out of balance. And I feel like that's when things go sideways and people end up with illnesses or money troubles. And it's not even always by their own hand. They have like brujeria put on them. So there's just an imbalance in energy. And that's when things go wrong.